got a journey to bring you on. And I don't want this to be so formal and like straight to like a script or anything like that, but I gotta say, YouTube has been the most challenging platform for me, which I don't know why, because TikTok is so easy for me and it's so loose and fun. I guess because on TikTok, when I entered TikTok, I didn't have no expectations. On YouTube, I've always had an expectation whenever I like attempted to be like full time on this platform to have to like hit a certain like unrealistic goal. And what I mean with that is I was thinking of it more of like, I've got to find a niche that I fit in, so people will like me and watch my videos and find me entertaining. And so it wasn't like where TikTok I started with just like having fun and experimenting with not dances because I'm not a dancer, unfortunately. I wish I was, but I'm not, at least at this time. So it was just really it was really loose and just like playing around with like little short videos is just super easy to do. You just hit record and just, do something. And everybody there that I seen when entered TikTok, I didn't see them taking themselves seriously. Whereas even I remember in 2012 when I first officially like got on YouTube because I wanted to be a creator in 2012. This was 10 years ago now, guys. I've been on and off YouTube for 10 years and I haven't committed to it long enough to see really a good return. And I think because it was really just where I was at in life and like I said, my expectations were so big and so misaligned to the platform. So back then, let me tell you a little bit of backstory of like why I got involved with YouTube and why I really wanted to be on YouTube. So back in 2012, I believe that was the year I put my oldest daughter into a beauty pageant, and I wanted to figure out the platform really to scale my kids up as like I don't want to say like influencers or like that, but really just want to share the moments that go fleeting, right? The fleeting moments of a child's life. And so I put her in this pageant, and it was a local one that eventually would be like international, and she ended up getting like best personality or something because she was very charismatic. And just being in that environment in 2012, I decided that it wasn't something I wanted to put her in because it wasn't the right atmosphere. So I didn't know pageants were basically where these moms, majority of them, would bring their kids and put makeup on them and wigs sometimes and like little like floral dresses, like almost like wedding dresses. And literally my kid was the only one that didn't have any of that. It was like this beautiful spring dress, and I put her hair in some braids and I tied it back, and she just looked really cute, like a natural little kid, right? And like I said, being in that environment, I just didn't want to hang out with those types of people that did this to their kids. I just thought it would be more like fun and relaxing and something we could all just like share good memories and not so much like competitive driven. That doesn't make sense, does it? But either way, so it lasted like, I mean, it didn't wasn't like a total terrible feeling. It was just like I just don't want to hang out with these types of women, and a lot of them, I gotta say, were very overweight and didn't really take care of themselves, other than like their face, like they put on heavy makeup, they might have did their hair really nice, but I was like, I don't want to end up like them, in 10, 20 years or whatever. I don't want to go down the same path they are going down and end up being one of these moms that, essentially would be following the pack, right? And so I decided that since I had no support in moving forward with that, anyhow, which is a terrible way to look at it, but really it was my own self. I didn't want to do it because of the environment. Now, if it was a different environment, who knows, where we would be now, and where would my older daughter now be in that career or path? She might be an actor, actress, whatever, singer, something. But at the end of the day, I had another child, my son, which is just literally just born. I think he was like 3 months or something, and I had no other caregiver. So it was basically I would have to take my newborn son and my then I think she was like 3-year-old daughter. Yeah, that would be right. My 3-year-old daughter, to go to New York to do all these traveling things, and I had no support from my husband at the time, which I'm not married anymore. To even do anything like that. Like there was no support at all to even pursue something like that. But outside of all of that, I learned like later on, it really wasn't about like putting others above me. And that's what essentially I ended up doing for many, 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 many years. And yes, there is a fine line between caregiver, like when you're raising your kids and like educating them and, providing value and spending time with them, then literally, feeling like, you have to do everything for them, like full service, maid service, everything. And not only for your kids, but your husband too, right? Or in your business and everything else that you do in life. And there's just not enough energy to take care of yourself at the end of the day. So that's what happened with me. But anyhow, back on the YouTube track. So in 2012, when I got onto YouTube and decided, well, I'm going to try this other thing and I'm going to figure it out for myself. And then maybe I can get my kids involved. So I found these channels that involve their kids. And most of them were like craft channels because I was really into like arts and crafts and all that because it's something I could do easily with my kids. I was a painter too, even then. Like I painted for many years, but it wasn't something that I could easily, transition with my kids into painting. Painting's expensive, and having two really young kids, it just wasn't in the budget to, teach them, painting at that time. And plus, they really didn't care less. So I found that they really liked, well, my 3-year-old at the time, my young son was still a very baby, like infant. So I found out, I could do crafts with my daughter, and I found all these crafting channels and everything, which I found interesting, but it seemed like it was very complex. But we'll get into that in a second. So my first YouTube video ended up being like, you could say the verge of a Martha Stewart because I was like, well, I could be like a Martha Stewart and do crafts and then basically bring in my daughter and then build it out like that, right? So I was like, well, I got to figure out this whole YouTube thing. So my first ever video, and I don't even know if it's somewhere on YouTube still, or there's like a channel out there that I still have, which I had many channels at one time. Like I said, I've been trying to do this for like 10 years. Where it was a blender. I just got a brand new blender and it was like so cheap. It was like $25 or something. And I think I might have even gotten off at Amazon before they had their logo that was a smile. And they didn't even have the tape on the box that was like the smiles back when Amazon like really didn't do much branding on their boxes. And I got this blender and I was so excited. And it was like a cheap blender. And I was like, well, I'm just going to do a video of me unboxing it and, making a smoothie. So I did that and I uploaded it and I tagged it all out and everything. Because by that time, I already did content for major sites that me and my partner built, founding like huge companies online. So I was already a content creator, just not in the video niche. So, just trying to figure out, okay, let me figure out YouTube and then I'll grow out this channel in this like Martha Stewart type industry and then bring my daughter in, all these crafts things, and that'll be a lot of fun and it'd be amazing. And then it hit me that, my God, it was so boring to watch for me. And so I just left it up and then I left it like that. I was just like, trying to like take care of my kids during it. I was like, people don't want to see me trying to like hold my son and like talk to my daughter and trying to make this like craft or this like food thing. And I'm not even sure what the heck I'm doing because I wasn't even a good cook back then. I was still trying to figure it out. So I was like, I'm not bringing any value to the platform. I'm not really sure what I'm doing. So I basically like forgot about it for a long time and I did other things with like Amazon FBA, running real estate that we had. I had an online business that we sold a couple years before that. So there was really nothing else other than just raising my kids, and I homeschooled them too at that time, and they're still homeschooled now. But just getting involved in all that, which was a whole new journey. So what happened moving forward, because I was like, well, maybe I'll do like these channels about teaching art to kids on YouTube. And I was like, it's not something I really want to tape. I'm not really sure what I'm doing. Again, it was those negative beliefs on just like people won't be interested in knowing this journey as I'm learning it, right? So then it got into and see, after that, it was we ended up moving. This was about 5 years after that first one. So it was, yeah, that would be right. It would be 2016, the end of 2016, beginning of 2017. We ended up moving, and it was a huge move because we had 3 kids then, and we were moving to a much bigger place that was totally, like, you could say gutted. It wasn't really even gutted, it was worse than gutted because it was just in such a bad condition that it needed a lot of work. But it was a good move. I still live here now. And it's my my house. So not my ex-husband's. But so it was a huge process to make the move and, take care of 3 small kids and then still do everything I was doing online, which was smaller, like more hobbyish stuff. Like I was doing some design work for my own books that I was making at the time for Amazon. I was still running an online business for Amazon for book selling. And then I still had like all these other little projects I was involved in with Etsy or Kickstarter and things like that, even Shopify, and like I was even doing some like on-site sales stuff for my artwork, and that was through like Square. So I've done it all online. And in that being said, with that being said, it was a lot of work. And I was like, I really want to get back onto YouTube again because I like video. I like this idea of video content. So I ended up starting a site, and I believe it's still on here. It's called K Crafts, Kay, like my middle name, Crafts with a K, of course. And it was all about like these little things that I made for like Barbies, right? Out of crafts. And the reason why I did that is because I saw another channel that was doing that and it was getting a lot of engagement, a lot of likes. And older daughter, which was my younger daughter before in that last piece. I just got a message, so I was seeing what that was. Um, now she's older and I got a younger daughter. And then I'm like, okay, well, she's into Barbies, so this could be some way we can bond, we can do that craft thing again, and it's just a different way of doing something. Well, those sets and those, like, craft things that we were doing with Barbie took hours. Sometimes they even took days. So getting a video recorded was very difficult because my computer at the time didn't have much memory. I didn't have a camera, so I was using my cell phone, and it was very difficult to upload. It was very difficult to like try to figure out how to edit because I didn't have any editing skills. I didn't know nothing about that because I came from photography and painting and knowing stuff online, but it was different skills online. It wasn't the same skills. So I was like, okay, well, after doing that for like, I don't know, that one actually lasted a little longer, like 4 months, but just because it took so long to make stuff. And so I did that for a bit. And then I got worn out. I got burnt out because I was still doing everything else. And I had a bigger house to take care of. And then we ended up getting horses. So I had to figure out how to raise horses. And I have 4 of them. You can't just get one, I get 4. 'Cause that's a whole other story. So basically my ex wanted 2 horses and I wanted 2 bigger horses because the other ones were minis and he wanted minis and I ended up having to take care of them. Big story. Anyhow, that could be for another day. So anyhow, so I had all this stuff going on, and again, I wasn't taking care of myself. I gained a lot of weight. And so, I fluctuated with weight so much in my life. And it was so frustrating. I was frustrated with myself. I was frustrated in all the responsibility I had to do. But I loved my kids, but I loved my husband, but I loved what I did in my career, you could say. I enjoyed all the time that I got to spend with my kids and being home and being an entrepreneur online and all that stuff, investing in real estate and going to look at new deals and running numbers. But the paperwork and the time and the neglect on my self-care. And even when I try to do like my own self-care, people in my life life like thought it was silly or funny, like my own spouse, my own parents like had their own beliefs around food and eating habits, and they would push that onto me and my children. And I was just like, oh, so it was just a constant struggle. And so, YouTube fell off again. And then let's see. After that, I tried a couple of channels for my kids because I was like, all right, my kids are fully online. They've been online since they were like 5 and 8. That's when I got them their computers and I showed them how to use them. My two older kids, my younger daughter ended up getting on around like 8 too. She was a little bit more into like toys for longer. So she didn't get online until like around 8 as well. So, you know, oh, going with what their wants were and what they were interested in. They were interested in games. They were interested in recording, like they had like little kids video cameras, and they didn't have iPhones back then yet because they ended up getting my old ones eventually and my ex's old ones. But that wasn't until much later, until they were like 13, 14. So, they had these little kid cameras, which were really cool. So I was like, okay, they're interested in that. Maybe I can get them a YouTube channel and they could like do screen captures of their video games that they're playing, right? And they can just figure out how to stream video games because they're really into Minecraft, and Roblox wasn't a thing back then, but Minecraft was huge. Dan TDM and Mr. Beast wasn't really around. Dan TDM and PewDiePie, really big gamers back then in the Minecraft space. So, gaming space, Minecraft gaming space, and Twitch wasn't even a thing yet. So, I was trying to set them up accounts and get them involved in recordings because they were a little bit older, and it never really took off that they wanted to be in front of a camera that they knew was going to go out to the world. So they were happy shooting videos of each other being silly around the house, or even of me like cooking or at some weird angle, like while I'm reading or something, but they didn't want to make it public. So I totally understand that. And I never pressured them either. So it just kind of just faded off into nothing. Like again, the YouTube journey just was like, it would be fun, but I don't have time to edit for my kids. And, I don't have time to teach them any like YouTube skills because I don't know any. All I know is how to set up the channel. So that's what I did. So then fast forward about 3 years after that, I was doing a lot of digital art on my iPad, which I don't have my iPad. Oh yeah, I do right here. So on my iPad, this iPad, or maybe the one before that. Yeah, I had drawings on my one before that, before you could even draw with an Apple Pen, which I don't even have my Apple Pen up here. But the first versions, you had to get like a special pen that had these little discs at the end of them to actually write on the screen, and they were terrible because if you put your hand on it, which is usually natural if you're trying to get like a straight line or a curve, then it would basically make a mark with your hand. So you would have to wear like a glove, and then you would have to like hold it like weird because it had to be straight or it can't register. And it was a struggle, but it was something that I could share on my YouTube channel. And so I did that, and I shared like 3 videos because I decided that the only way I was going to get better in painting, the next stage of my painting evolution, was to get better at drawing because I sucked at drawing. It was just bad. So I was like, okay, I got to get better at drawing to better my skills in painting, which isn't always true, but it's just what I thought. And so I decided to make a series of coloring books because that would force me to make a large collection of drawings. So I ended up making like 6 collections altogether. 3 of them got published within its year and a half span. The other 3 didn't because I was going through a divorce, and like I said, that was a couple years later after that. But what I ended up doing is I have an account somewhere still here that has Amena's art on it, and it has those 3 videos on the time elapse on making those pictures or backgrounds, and that was a lot of fun. So, that's where that ended because the transfer rate on trying to get them up to YouTube, because I had to figure out how to get this onto my computer to get onto YouTube. And it was, again, a lot of work back then, especially because, that was like the second generation or maybe even the first generation of iPad. And it just took so long to do. It would literally take like a night just to upload one, like not even 5 minute clip. I think it were like 30-second clip or something. So I was like, okay, I'm not having fun with this. It's just stressful. And you shouldn't do anything that's really stressful. So I had like some old recordings that I had from when I had an art class for the co-op for homeschooling. And so I uploaded a couple of those and I tried a channel on that. And that was just like, I did like 2 videos, I think I uploaded just because I had the footage. And I was like, well, let me try this again. And it was directly on my phone. And that worked a lot faster. But again, I got into the whole thing like, I feel like I'm an art teacher and I don't want to be an art teacher. I'd rather be an artist than an art teacher. Art teacher, I already did that. I had a little co op a couple years and it was fun. It was, one on one, but I don't see this as a channel. I don't see this as a long term thing. And I never want to stick like, with something very long if I don't, feel good about it, right? Nobody should have to do that. But I never thought about, how these people now with YouTube stick with something and then they evolve it around them. I didn't really understand personal brands. Okay. So now, fast forward to the last like 3 years, I, got a divorce. I went through a really hard time in my life on just really just discovering me and my own mind and my own like self like determination on just like pushing through everything. And we'll leave that for another whole story, or you'll probably like hear bits and pieces over time because I don't like to go into the negative. So, when I was really facing, you could say trauma, I was in a trauma state or traumatic state in 2018 and even a lot of 2019 and some of 2020 through COVID and, the rest of my divorce proceedings and everything. It really, like, destroyed, like, a piece of me that I thought I was, that I thought I had to, like, uphold, right? And I realized I didn't need to be that person anymore. I could evolve. I could love myself. I don't need somebody to give me validation on who I am and my own self-worth. So my whole channel now focuses around like motivation, mindset, um, and let's see, motivation, mindset, business coaching, and all the things that helped me through that most difficult time in my life. And the whole reason that it started on YouTube is because I wanted to have something that I could go back to and give me a daily reminder of all I've been through and how strong I really am. Because I would go into these lapses like every like other day or every few days or every weeks. That I felt really shitty about myself and my condition, and I didn't really want to blame somebody, but I blamed myself. I blamed myself for like keeping up with bad relationships, for living other people's expectations of who I was or I am. And it was very confusing because I didn't feel like that person, but other people thought I was. And they all have different variations of who I should be, right? Or what I should be striving to be and why something, it was very detrimental to my emotional and physical health. And it was very hard to live day to day, even though I do love life and, I always tried to find the good in everything. It was very hard to get out of bed and stay out of bed like all day and just like push through that. And so, with me doing my podcast that's now called Amena.fm, doing my YouTube channel where I share the live videos for Message of Hope, Stories from Struggle to Success, doing the videos on like, you could say life coaching. Those were all for me at the end of the day. I didn't have no expectations when I built those channels on YouTube, when I put that information on YouTube. The only expectations I had for Message of Hope, Stories from Struggle to Success, because I wanted those people to get recognized, not myself. So it came more as I was putting this information out to to be a place that I could go to, not so much as growing a channel and making a money. Like what my focus was on all those other ones was really like growing this brand and making money with it and having, something for my kids to like grow into and have fun with. So it was more like, how can I make money with this? How can people relate to this? And then it became fun, like, okay, well, I know there's money on YouTube. I know that there's like certain niches that seem fun. I can make that, but it didn't start from a place of being fun first. And I felt, even though I don't know if you could say life coaching or putting yourself out there is really fun, because it's not about that. It's not about fun. It's more like just finding your voice, right? And I use this term a lot in my life coaching programs, and we have also like events that's actually named find your voice on Facebook that we put together, me and my team put together. So, it was really just about self-empowerment through video. And with that, YouTube began. Now, I say that I'm a beginner YouTuber now because this video here, I have tried videos like this. I've recorded videos like this. I've done it time and time and time and time and time again. I have literally been doing these longer form videos on my phone for about the last 2 years, and not consistently, just every time I'm like, I want to share this. Like last year, I did, yeah, was it last year? Let me think. It might have been the year before. Now that time has just flown through COVID, that I did my own self challenge. Actually, I did it twice. I did it last year and the year before. I was 10 miles in 10 days to get to 100 miles. It was a self challenge, and I wasn't really filming it live, but I did like a recap, and I have a video from, walking through the woods and sharing my thoughts and things like that. And I was going to compile them all together and make this amazing YouTube channel around it. But then I was like, this isn't all who I am, right? And that, again, I didn't understand personal branding. People follow you for you on a personal brand, not because you're sharing a piece of information that they're going to want to resonate forever with, right? Because I knew that that challenge that I gave myself was limited, right? It was only going to be for 10 days. And I didn't have another challenge to follow up after that because I really didn't have another challenge I wanted to do after that, right? So I was like, I can't make this channel because I don't have that next thing. So again, I was limiting my exposure with YouTube because I thought I would have to come up with something, not understanding that, plenty of people have a channel just for themselves as a personal brand to relate to the world, to put their message out there, to find their voice. So, now coming back fully again after recording my last video that I did on my phone, which was all about my fasting journey. I fasted for 30 days. Hence, I didn't fast all 30 days and I ended up only fasting 15. And then I was like, I don't know, because I got to cut out some things and some things I've got to be more clear on. So here I'm already like pulling it apart, saying, okay, well, I want to re-record this. I want to do this time. I want to get more information on this. And again, it never got posted. And this was only like last month that I made this one. And so now I'm just like, okay, well, I still haven't hit my 30-day fast. I've hit two times, I hit 15 days, but there's a lot of information I want to dispel with long term fasting. It's not starvation. There's actual protein that I take, there's actually supplements I take, there's actual like other things I take to stay healthy during that time. But again, I didn't want it to be all fixated on this challenge or food or something to do with nutrition or fitness, because there's plenty of stuff I could tell you guys about fitness and losing like hundreds of pounds, but it's not like I'm just one label, and I always hated labels. I'm just not one thing, and it's so frustrating trying to fit into that box to become that one thing. And then I realized I didn't have to. I didn't have to. This whole time I didn't have to fit in a box. And TikTok actually is what gave me that freedom. So I did started my TikTok about 2 years ago just for behind the scenes, just playing around with it. A lot of it was silly, a lot of it was goofy, a lot of it was, like, not even a true reflection of what I wanted to show or who I wanted to show up as. But it gave me the encouragement to just press start and just record something for me for later. Because again, I started TikTok so I had a record for myself of my self-growth journey. And funny enough, that's how I started my YouTube. And then I realized after gaining a 0 to 20,000, more than that now, I got 27,000 on TikTok now under my own name, not under an alias or anything else, which is another big challenge that I had of just putting my name out there. So I had it under my name after much, much fighting with myself. I actually put it under my name. My company is named my name. Amena.co is my main website. All of my stuff's branded under my name. And God, it took me a long time to just be happy with who I was, right? And a lot of that is because I put so much pressure on myself that I had to fit in this one box when I really never had to. I know you guys appreciate the things I put out here. I know that you get value from the message of hope. I know you get value from those affirmation videos. I know you get value from my life coaching stuff, from my business coaching stuff. For me, just showing up like this, just raw and real. I know that now. It's taken me 10 years to discover it, but I promise you, but most importantly, I promise myself that this is the new real, the new personal brand. I don't even know what to say. It could be like what it should be because it's not a label. Again, this is me. You can take me or leave me, but at the end of the day, I'm here for me. And I like videos and I like recording videos. So I am always a content creator by heart and I always will be. And I accept that now. And I accept, showing my artwork where I used to be so afraid for showing it. I used to be so afraid for showing up as myself, for using my voice, because every time I did, I was pressured to be quiet, to go to my room, to, not stop talking because I was talking too much, to my artwork's not that great, to, not being able to show my artwork in the rest of my house because, it was confined to my studio, to not having the confidence to talk about what I like and what I don't like. And all that changed within the last couple of years when I discovered how powerful I really am and how much I really do love and care for myself. So I encourage you guys to follow my channel, look at the message of hope, follow some of those amazing people there. I gave you some links in there. And if I missed some links because I have screwed up a lot on YouTube, be patient with me. We will be updating the site. And when I mean we will be, eventually I will have a team on this. Hopefully sooner than later, if you guys can help me and share my amazing journey here. And I've got some journeys that I'd like to take you on. So I've got a mission over the next 6 months to hit 1 million followers. And that doesn't have to be all here on YouTube because it's not for YouTube. It's not for you guys. And it's for me. And that's the way it should be. You should be making content built on the things you love. And if I happen to build my YouTube around, self empowerment or self improvement and self love and life coaching, business coaching, singing, acting, whatever it is my story. And you guys, I hope you enjoy as much as I enjoy life and you get some encouragement out of all these videos that I will be putting here. But at the end of the day, I'm doing this for me first. And I hope that you enjoy them. So if you do enjoy them, make sure that you do subscribe. And I look forward to doing another video like this because I like these more loose and fun and impromptu videos. And I realize that now. I don't want them to be structured. I don't want them to be pasted together with all the little like highlights and everything else. And if I eventually have a team that can add some of those elements, amazing. But right now, it's just me making these. So you bear with me and come on with the journey. All right, guys, that is it. My name is Amena Thornton, and thank you for watching this whole video. If you did, I know it's been a long one. Take care, and I'll see you later.